Next question, we're going to go on to ECW, and this was something that I mentioned to you just beforehand. You and Chris, he's the guy who does Appalachian Championship Wrestling, if people are wondering.
Ugly guy.
Yeah. Big boy. He's a big boy, our Chris. And you two were arguing, it turned out Chris was right, that you had put the face paint on of Doink the Clown when you were feuding with him with Matt Borne.
Yeah. When he brought it up, I said, "Oh no, I never had the makeup on," because my predominant memory of that was that it was very brief, that Matt was in and out, and I recall specifically the rings, the promo with him with the face half painted and not. He was going to be doing this in and out of character thing, and the promo was mesmerizing. I was sitting, Paul would always have me watch the promos because I could add an eye for it, and when I catch myself doing this, there's something magical going on. It just sucks you in. I thought, he didn't like the gimmick, but he made the best of it. And now this was a chance for him to put a real finality to that in an entertaining and money drawing way that I thought was brilliant. And he walked away. He quit. I thought, why? Dude, that was the perfect point. But yeah, Chris had said about me having the makeup, and I was absolutely certain I had never done that because there was zero memory of that. And he showed me the clip, and I'm watching it. And as soon as I started watching it, I went, "Oh shit, he's right. Yeah, I do remember this now, right?" There was something. What was it with 911? Was there? Wasn't it? Moose is sitting right here, by the way.
I think so. Yeah.
But watching the tape back, yeah, it's funny because there's so many memories up there. We talked about this before. A lot of stuff you forget. It's not that you're trying to forget it or whatever. There's just so many other things that overlay over that. But then you see the clip of it and you go, boom! It floods the memory back. And I do remember that time. And I remember, Matt had to put the paint on because I didn't know how to do it, and there was this, sort of overhead thing with the wig, and it was meant to be a distraction. I think, made for the fans to believe that it was him, when in fact it was going to be the introduction of this new character. Yeah, it's like I said a second ago, us old dogs still do learn new things. But I like that when somebody corrects something to me, and I'm told that I was wrong on it.
You said that Matt left before you could really finish off that feud. What was the reason?
No idea. That happened in ECW a handful of times when we did when Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko left. We had just launched months before this triple threat, and they leave. Well, I knew Candido, and I definitely wanted Candido in it. But then, who's that third person? And Brian Lee, I always liked Brian's work. Brian was a bigger guy. I wanted to have that sort of mixture so we could sort of do a bunch of different things. And we brought him in. He walked out of ECW. He just didn't show up one weekend. And I hadn't seen him since. It was the joke in the business was we're going to put him on a milk carton, right? He just disappeared. And luckily for us, Bam Bam had come in right after that, and it was a no-brainer. But there was this, wrestling, especially with a company like ECW, there's not a ton of money to float around. So there's a lot of these moving parts that sometimes would show up and then disappear. Somebody figured in and then doesn't come back. And it wasn't like a weekly thing, but it happened here and there. Matt was one of those. I'd seen Matt several times later. In fact, I was up in Portland one time working with there was a local television station up there trying to put a thing together. And he and I went out and worked. And boy, he reminded me of how stiff he could be in the ring. But he said about that, he didn't like the Doink gimmick, but he was making a lot of money with it. And he was afraid of putting that end point to it and moving on. And I get that. Again, this is what wrestling business does to you. You got to make the living. So that's why he did it. But I thought this was a brilliant way, because the ECW TV was hot at the time and getting hotter. And I thought this is a brilliant, brilliant character. And he was so good at it because he could so seamlessly go from Matt Borne to Doink and back that I think he really, really missed a great opportunity there to introduce an unbelievably new character into wrestling.